Charles Darwin once said, "If I had my life to live over again, I would have made a rule to read some poetry and listen to some music at least once every week." I feel like it's hard for anyone to say that they don't like music. I mean, music can be anything to anyone. You can be driving in the car and having the worst day ever, and you turn on a song and it can just completely change your mood. It can make you feel happy and sad, or any emotion really. And I've only met one person in my life who said that they didn't like music, and then they told me that their favorite movie was a musical. So the purpose of the speech is to inform everyone in Communications 110 about a piece of music that has a special meaning to me. I want to talk about why I chose the song, why it's meaningful to me, and some quotes and lyrics from the song that hold the most meaning, personally. I chose the song Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift. So I grew up listening to Taylor Swift. I can remember being as young as 5 and listening to her in the car or on the way to school or to get groceries. And I had 3 siblings growing up, 2 brothers and 1 sister. So of course I was more partial to my sister growing up. She was just like my inspiration. And I happen to be the youngest out of all of them, and we have a pretty good age gap. I looked up to my sister so much growing up, like I already said, and I can remember times when I thought she was the coolest person in the world. I wanted to be just like her. Everything that she did, I wanted to do. So if she listened to Taylor Swift, then so was I. And then Taylor Swift in general just reminds me so much of my childhood. And I can remember going to concerts with my family to see her, and it was just magical to me as a kid. Why is the song Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift so meaningful to me? So first off, the basis of the song is that she walks through all the stages of growing up. She goes through being a baby, to a child, to a teenager, to an adult, and she just talks about her feelings and how you feel during it, and yeah. So whenever I was young, I could relate to the song, and now that I'm older, I can relate to the song too. So it's just kind of built up, and every time I listen to it, I relate to a new lyric, and I'm like, wow. And the song kind of makes me feel emotional because looking back, I realize how quickly time actually passes and how quickly things go by and you don't even realize it. And then you begin to look around and realize that everyone around you is getting older too, and it's not just you, because as a kid you kind of think, oh well, it's my birthday, I'm growing up, but in reality everyone around you is too, and the older you get, the more you realize that. And then lastly, this is the first song that came into my mind when I thought of this speech, so I thought I had to choose it because it was just immediate. And then some quotes and lyrics from the song Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift that held the most meaning to me are, the first lyric I have chosen is, "You got nothing to regret." This is in the very beginning of the song, and she's referring to being a baby or a toddler, and you're an innocent kid and you can't regret anything yet because you're so young. And when you're a baby or a toddler, you haven't done anything to regret yet, and she acknowledges that it can't stay that way forever, because at some point in your life you do make mistakes and you can't really prevent that. Next, I chose the lyric, "Memorize what it sounded like when your dad gets home." This lyric makes you realize that you'll forget those sounds eventually. One day you won't be in your house anymore, and you realize that you'll be older and grown and you might never hear those sounds again. And that's just really reminiscent of me, because you won't hear that forever, and that's kind of a scary thought to think about. The last lyric I chose is, "I just realized everything I have is someday gonna be gone." Now, this specific lyric makes me really sad, and you can't deny how true it is. Life passes by, and before you know it, you've already graduated high school, and you've graduated college in a blink of an eye. You're already on the next stage of your life. And I just hate the feeling of how slow or how fast time goes, and it can be different depending on the day. And one day you want this phase of your life to be over, and then the next it is, and you don't even realize it. So in conclusion, I informed everyone in Communications 110 about the song that has the most meaning to me, which is Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift. I walked you through the process of why I chose that certain song, why it has meaning to me, and lastly, some lyrics that mean the most to me personally. And I want to leave off my speech with a question. So I shared about a song that makes me emotional, this song, and it makes me wonder, is there any song like that for you guys? I would love to hear and listen to them as well. Thank you!